Warner Brothers trailer debuts Sopranos prequel footage. Dune still set for HBO Max. I am very excited about the Sopranos prequel. Okay,
So
I am a Sopranos nut. Okay,
I may have a unique take on the Sopranos, maybe because my last name ends in a vowel.
Yeah.
When I saw the Sopranos, I had a very personal relationship with that show. There were characters in there that reminded me a great deal of my family members.
Yes.
That was just bizarre. I'm trying to temper what I say here. I'm trying to be very careful about what I say. I have family that very much resembles the storyline of the Sopranos. I know people that
owned an Italian restaurant.
Yeah. There you go. That's probably a good way to, and you can interpret it that how you want to.
Or worked in waste management. Okay, there you
go. but the main storyline aside, just the characterization of some of these people was so much like my family. I found myself laughing out loud, and I would. Nanette obviously did not grow up with me. She doesn't know my family except after we got married. So I would say, oh my gosh, that particular character, just like my Uncle Richard, just his mannerisms, the things he says. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. And she would ask me questions and I'd be like, oh, you kind of have to understand Italian American culture. Italian American culture is very different from true Italian culture. I'm sorry, Italians out there, Italian Americans.
Well, they show that on the show too when they go to Italy. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'll be honest with you, I even had to explain to Nanette that the culture that you see in that show is very much a New Jersey, New York type of Italian American, which is also different from a Chicago Italian American. Just in, for example, eggplant parmesan, okay, they call it moulignon, and my mom and grandma always called it moulignon. It's a minor thing, but it's enough that would immediately, for an Italian American, oh, you're from Jersey, oh, you're from Chicago. Those kinds of things. I'm sorry. I've kind of got off on a tangent, but I'm basically getting at, as an Italian American, I love that show, but that was so long ago. I'm going to have a really hard time relating to something new that's a prequel. That being said, the one image that I saw, this kid that's playing the younger character, oh my gosh, he looks just like him. I mean,
he's the son of James Gandolfini, Michael Gandolfini, and they say
is he?
He
that
looks
explains
a
lot.
Yes, it's in the article. Yeah, included in the Warner Brothers 20 is the David Chase's high anticipated Sopranos prequel.
Basically saying I didn't do my homework because
Many Saints. Well, that's why you have me. I make sure I do the homework. You did the homework on the GameStop, so that saved the bacon. My bacon, okay. Stock market.
See how it works, people?
GameStop.
I'm not doing my job.
Anyways. But it's it's going to be Michael Gandolfini, son of the late James Gandolfini, and they were even saying like his mannerisms are
great casting,
very similar to his dad's.
I see myself doing and saying things like my family. If I was cast, I've had family members who have said you look and act just like your Uncle Richard, and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see that. That kind of makes sense to me,
Well, Sopranos is a personal for me too because it takes place in New Jersey, and I know those areas. I know.
Oh, really? I didn't know that about you.
It is so accurate to New Jersey. Whoever wrote that gets New Jersey. Okay, it is very accurate to the area. All the little details. You hear little details, and other people like miss. Like they said, "Oh, you were doing an internship over at Plays in the Park." I know what Plays in the Park is. Someone doesn't live in New Jersey may not know. That's at least put
Yeah,
these nice
those
plays on the
kinds of
park.
lines
Yeah,
just went over my head, and I
yeah,
totally missed
but they're in there, very accurate to the New York, New Jersey area because
and yet I would hear a line like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go over to their house. I'm gonna bake a ziti for them. And yeah, I'd be like, oh gosh, that is so Italian,
that's nice. Someone come to my house, bake a ziti for me. Anyway, but anyways,
if I could trust the U.S. Postal Service, I would bake you one and send you one.
No, don't be trusting them right now.
No, you can't.
Maybe in 10 years. No.
I sent my mom some. Well, actually, Nanette sent my mom some cookies for Christmas, and it took how long, Netter?
She didn't get them until January 6th.
January 6th. We sent them weeks before Christmas, and I was like, "Mom, don't eat those cookies. They're not good anymore." Unfortunately, she did eat them. She said she liked them. Apparently, she didn't get sick. I'm like, Mom, you're crazy.
Oh man, though. But I want to mention something else. Though, you ever want to have fun? Go on YouTube and watch some Sopranos clips and look at the comments under them. You will see the meanest, like bitingly funny but mean comments about the characters on the show.
How do you mean? Can you give me like an example?
Okay.
Even a generalization?
I'm trying to. Let me see if I can find one that's clean. Okay, yeah, I'll find one that's clean. Okay. There's a character on a show called Beansy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Beansy in season 2 gets beat up pretty bad and then run over with a car a couple times and stuck in a wheelchair by the brother of a guy, one of the guys that ran the New Jersey Mafia. Okay, and in a later season, Tony's visiting him in Florida, and the wife is there, and the wife is saying, "Okay, goodbye, honey. I'm going off to the card game." And someone writes in the comments underneath, "She ain't going to no card game." Anyway, that she's cheating on her husband because it's so mean. It's just all the mean comments in there. The stuff about AJ. Like AJ didn't know what gutters were and everything else. But
I want to use this as an opportunity to point out, okay, I'm Italian. Surprise, surprise. The Pacelli name should kind of tell you that. I'll tell you, you would be really hard pressed to offend me by saying anything about my Italian heritage. I look down on any Italian that gets all SJW about.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that any Italian that does is just doing that as a reaction to, the SJW culture. They're almost being satirical because you know what? Excuse me for using these terms. I'm sure that nobody cares about these because they're not the SJW talking points. Italians are not a protected culture, but you use the phrase guinea, you use the term wop. I don't care. Okay. You can call me that all day long and it's not going to bother me. I honestly don't. My mom is the same way. My grandmother was the same way. It's like, you know what? Whatever. We're not that thin-skinned. Okay. We kind of took pride in that. The fact that we live in a world where there's certain people that are, I guess the phrase these days is snowflakes.
Yes.
Actually, this is an interesting storyline. They actually covered this a little bit in The Sopranos too.
Yeah.
This whole idea that, Italians are like, I don't care. I'm much thicker skinned than that.